When we are on the same road with John on the Eiger, we need to know if we can trust each other with our lives.
Warm days make the Eiger too risky to climb. While we waited for cool weather, I wanted to show Sienna more of the things that I love about Switzerland. The mountain passes were once impossible to cross most of the year. Because of the Alps, the Italian region of Switzerland developed separately from the French and German parts.
We're in the southeast tip of Switzerland, the region of Ticino, where the people speak Italian.
The Versasca Dam in Ticino is over 200 meters high. If you stacked 9 of these dams on top of each other, they'd be as tall as the north face of the Eiger.
I knew when I married John that he wasn't afraid of living life on the edge. That's who he is.
This is catching a little bit there.
It's all right. And remember to enjoy it, because this is probably the last time you'll ever do it.
Okay.
Love you.
Shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm burning through the sky, yeah. 200 degrees, just why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic man out of you. Don't stop me now. I'm having a good time. Don't stop me. Yes, I'm having a good time. I don't wanna stop at all.
In the Alps, the tremendous influx of people has raised a new challenge. How to inhabit these mountains in a way that protects their future.
The most famous pass across the Alps.
I met up with Professor Bruno Messerli for his lively insights on the Alps. Bruno Messerli studies how we as a species interact with these mountains. To connect with the outside world, they've had to tunnel through massive mountains, bridge valleys, and carve roads into huge cliffs. Switzerland looks small on the map, but the mountains give it a large vertical dimension.
I mean, this exercise began several thousand years ago. People came in here and had to adapt to this fantastic landscape.
So would the same farmer have land in the bottom of the valley and also up in the hills?
Yes, it was not easy. But look here, you see in the lower valley bottom, they could plow, they had barley, they had the cows, the cattle. Then come the steep slope here up, and then there must be the forest. Then is again grazing land, and then begins the stony part, then comes the snow and the ice. It is fantastic to have in a vertical structure all these different belts.
And what kind of different types of rocks are there in the Alps?
Well, there's limestone, which is sedimentary. There's some crystalline rocks of different types, including granite.
And how tall are the Alps?
Well, they go up to 15,000 feet or more.
Tectonic uplift is still pushing the Alps higher, but they are also being torn down by other forces. As the rock freezes and thaws, it eventually cracks. Gravity and erosion do the rest. Many of the rocks that slide off these peaks are carted away to the valleys by the great Alpine glaciers. Today, as the Earth warms, glaciers melt faster than they can be replenished. At this rate, even the largest alpine glaciers will shrink to small fragments by the end of this century.
To drive this point home, Professor Messerly showed me the Aletsch Glacier, which has retreated 2 miles since 1850.
It is the longest glacier of the Alps, not only of Switzerland, yes. And it is longer than all the glaciers around Mount Everest. 23 kilometers here, you know.
And if the glacier was all the way down here 150 years ago, and now it's up there, is it retreating even faster now than it was then?
Yes, we are worried about it.
Glaciers have always gone through cycles. Each time they advanced, glaciers helped reshape the Alps.
Years like that, but they are always changing, even today. But look, we have something like
Today, throughout the Alps, the Ice Age has left its mark. Although glaciers never touched this ridge, they carved away its base on both sides. Pulled down by gravity and erosion, that rock fell off, leaving this Fraser's edge.
Glaciers can carve away the base of a mountain, leaving a single jagged peak called a horn. The most famous such peak is the Matterhorn.
A million years ago, the mountain was broader. But during the Ice Age, each time the glaciers advanced, they kept grinding downhill, scooping out, and gradually whittling away its base. Each receding glacier left steeper cliffs below and precarious unsupported rock above, which collapsed under its own weight. Throughout the Ice Age, the cycle was repeated until all that was left was a sharp, towering horn of rock.
At 14,730 feet, this dramatic icon straddles the border between Italy and Switzerland.
Dad always promised that he and I would climb the Matterhorn together. We never got the chance, but I've climbed it twice.
So this is where Whymper stayed, huh?
Edward Whymper was the first to climb the Matterhorn in 1865, setting out from the village of Zermatt. Italians were going up and he had to race them to the top, and so he set off from here for the final successful climb. The Matterhorn was the last great unclimbed mountain in the Alps. For their first attempt, they kept trying from the Italian side because it looks easier from a distance, but in fact the way the geology of the mountain goes, the holds are much more in-cut and easier to use on the Swiss side.
Whymper's team made it to the top, the first ever to stand on this summit. But on the descent, the rope broke. Only Whymper and 2 of his companions survived. Many thousands of people come to the Matterhorn each winter for one thing.